We're at the 30A Songwriters Festival in South Walton, Florida for the 2025 edition. So happy to be here for WMOT Roots Radio. I'm Jessie Scott with Jontavious Willis.
How you doing now?
So good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well.
I have seen you on stage. Twice, actually. At the Grand Ole Opry with Marty Stewart as he was announcing his new record. That was an incredible night of music.
It was.
And I love how the crowd responded. You know, you don't see blues all the time at the Opry, although they're building in more lately. But how did it feel to be there?
It felt great. It felt great to be there, man. And it's always fun to be around nice energy folks. And Marty's so gracious and nice, and yeah, he's just a great guy. Who, so it was fun. It was a fun night. And then I brought my fiance with me, at the time girlfriend, but yeah, we had fun. We had fun at the Opry. We had a good time.
Do you get to Nashville often?
Probably about once or twice a year. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm probably about 4 hours from there. I normally just drive up there.
Yeah, it's about the same for you to come here.
Like,
too.
yeah.
It's that, you know, going from Eastern time to Central time.
Yeah. Same thing with up there. Yeah, it's going backwards. Cause is Nashville Central Time?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, cause it's all of Tennessee Central Time.
No.
Okay, well, I thought.
Well, you get past Knoxville.
Yeah, then I get messed up sometime like that. But yeah, it's evenly 4 hours either way.
It's like, wait, what time is the gig?
Yeah, I know that. I have messed up a lot like that.
The other time that I saw you was at the Ryman with the Taj Mahal era, which Taj Mahal and Keb brilliantly made a record together. So great.
Yeah, that was fun.
So how did that happen?
And that was fun because I knew Taj first. I met him back in 2015. And then he told me, he introduced me to Keb, and Keb asked me, did I want to do a show with them in New York? And it went from 1 show to 3 to 30, you know, like, so I ended up doing like the whole run with them, the Taj Mahal run, and kind of got my, not my foot wet, just baptized me, you know, because we went everywhere, and they were so, like I said, they nice and gracious as well, because, I probably was 20, 21 when I got on the road with them, and I couldn't drive all those places, you know. I couldn't drive to New York, and I couldn't drive to California and all those places. So Taj let me get on the bus with him, you know, and they normally don't let an opener get on the bus. Like, you got to trail them, but he told me he'll take care of me, because they had met my family, because one of those stops was in LaGrange, Georgia, where I was born. So they got to meet my mom and dad. A Keb came to my house. So, like, you know, I feel like I know them more than just some of the other musicians. So it was fun being and rewarding more than just monetarily. It was just being around the elders, just being able to soak it in, going to these places I probably never go again, you know, venues, you know, being realistic. I might be able to get that one day, but you never know, you know. All of them probably not, but it was fun. It was a great time, and yeah, I had a good time with them.
It's great when you meet your tribe, and your tribe welcomes you.
For sure, that's a fact.
So tell me about how you came to the blues.
I grew up off of old school gospel, and I'm from the country. So I feel like those two kind of go hand in hand. And I always been around blues folks. You know, they're not necessarily saying the blues, but they are the same story. You know, hard-working people from big families, farmers. My folk, when my granddaddy was a farmer, you know, he didn't do no sharecropping, but he worked their way up, raised by his grandmother. He'll be 88-year-old in March, and he was got him some land and started working, had hogs, and he raised crop and all that stuff. And so I come up around those kind of people, home cooked meals and all that good stuff. And so when I started getting to the old school gospel, like when I was like 3 years old, I started singing. And then it's a thin line between gospel and blues, because it's a lot of the same people singing just different words, you know, but it's on different days, but it's all right there together. So, and that's really how I got into it. Not thinking about how I got into it, but the way I got into it was like Muddy Waters was the first guy that really got me into it, and I seen him doing this this thing it was like in the 70s or the 80s, I think it was the 70s, and he was singing in front of a black crowd. And I say that because in the 70s he had already, it was just strictly white crowd after the British invasion, and he was so charismatic because they was, sometimes it's a difference in the crowd, like those folk was cheering him on as he was singing, they were going wild, and a lot of folk did more reserve and wait to the end after the song done, and he was eating it up, and you could see him like he was swelling like a pastor, and it reminded me of how the pastor was getting, and how the pastor would make the folk just fall out, and how he was doing. And I was like, man, I want some of that, And then also I heard my god sister and my cousin in the front room talking about how they wanted a man that could play the piano. And I tried the piano when I was like 8 or 9, and I was all right at it, but I didn't keep up. Then one of them said, I want a man that could play guitar. So those two things, and I was like, these women sitting up in the bed on the Saturday morning talking about they want somebody that can play an instrument. They got to be somebody else out there. They want somebody to play an instrument. So those two things were my inspiration to playing the blues and loving it as much as I do.
So did you ever go back to piano?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just recently went back in May because my friend left a little small 66 key about this big, but it's a piano though. It's like, maybe like 200 pounds, but it's small, give you all the sound of a piano. And I can't work it as good as I do the guitar, but I can, feel good about myself as I can get done playing it,
So I love the tonality. Obviously guitar does what it does, and you can make it cry, and you can make it laugh, and
yeah.
You can make it joyous, or, and piano's got all kinds of coloration also. So it'd be really interesting to see as you progress with it, what you write on it, and
for sure.
how that changes things,
Sure.
It's such an incredible time for real music right now, and I'm so happy that you're putting your third record out, West Georgia Blues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Coming to this record, did you have a different conception?
Mm-hmm. I wanted to produce it myself because I had the previous one was produced by Taj and Keb, and I had felt like, I listened to enough music, enough blues especially, to know exactly what I wanted to put out as a blues record in today's time, and what I wanted to say with my instrument, and the kind of feeling I wanted to, display on my record. So I did it. I crowdfunded the record, and I put the record out, and yeah, good reception. It came out in August. And I also want to say that I was from Georgia, because a lot of folk, when you play blues, they automatically assume you from Mississippi or Chicago or somewhere, because a lot of good players came from those places. But we had a good little time. Like almost every southern state had its time in the blues, but just I think Mississippi and Chicago got to be videotaped, so a lot of folk just associate that with them. But yeah, so that's basically all I want to do with this record. And it's all anything I recorded today is tunes that I write. Just wanted to do it myself. I figured I could.
Why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why not? That was my thing. Why not?
Keep your worries on the dance floor. What a great concept that is. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can learn to do that,
life will be good.
I know. Yeah. And you can work it out on the dance floor.
Damn.
My mother used to tell me, when I was all up in it, when I was a teenager, go outside and throw a ball. Just, get it out of you.
Get it out.
But I found that dancing was way more fun.
Yeah, it is.
Music was way more fun. So we do play the album version of that on the air. So thank you for doing an acoustic version for us.
Thank you for playing it, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, it's so great. And, I love the other songs that you played as well for us. You want to talk about them?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first, to keep your words, like you said, I just wanted to have a song that would dance. I think a lot of things that I see now is like when I play blues or music, or especially by yourself, people just don't think that's an invitation to dance. And, I had played this show last year at this little island in Brittany, and it was like only 400 people on the island, or maybe 5. But regardless, half of the folk came to the show. and it was just me and the guitar, and a lot of folk that couldn't speak my language, and I couldn't speak theirs. But when they got to it and they started dancing, you could see some folk were really into it, and some folk were looking at them like making sure it was all right for them to do it. And by the end of the night, half of the room were dancing. Like that's like the universal language, you know. Well, one of the universal languages, definitely dance, man, and it was so fun. So I think just getting more involved in dancing and find out you got more in common than you actually think. So that was just that tune with, you know, with different scenarios and but yeah, that was a good one. And
well, I think music does that. You know, whether you can speak the language, you feel it. You know, you can feel the cadence, you can feel the love, you can feel the empathy.
That's
you know?
facts. And the other one, Ghost Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the origins of that one, it was just a tune titled Ghost Woman, by an artist from Georgia, and the intro line come from another song from a female blues singer named Ida Cox from Georgia, or born in Georgia, and the song called the Graveyard Dream, and it started off and say, I went to the grave digger, and one of the lines, I went to the graveyard digger and fell down on my knees, asked the grave digger to give me back my man, please. So I just used that line and kind of fused the two things together and kind of just tried to make there was a one take tune on the record. It was just like, and I didn't have it written down. I was just like, it just kind of just came to me, and we started planning. And I wanted to make a sad song, and I think it's kind of a sad song. I feel like the blues are like, you know, the blues can be just changed out for story. It don't have to mean sad. If you want to sing sad stuff all night, you can. And if you want to sing happy stuff, because it's a blues for everything, you know. And so I wanted to kind of like show that on the album too, that it's just like different shades of blue, you know.
Well, I love also two things. One is, you know, when you're listening to a bunch of sad blues songs, by the end of it,
don't pull it out of you.
All of it's off your shoulders.
You don't pull it out of you. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I love how, you know, things can be borrowed and morphed into, you know, made your own, and
For sure.
you know, you take the elements, and it's a living thing. It's so great.
For sure.
You want to talk about the first song you played for us?
Yeah, the first song is Drummer Boy Blues. Now, I tell you, at the opera is when I first put the interlude to it, because I used to just play it. I didn't have the part about the boy, but I had said, if I'm gonna be out here on the opera, I got to have a story on this. So I put the story together and went it. And Reverend Gary David do a Drummer Boy March thing too. So I took parts of his, and then I put a free verse part where you can say like rap or whatever, but that free verse part, I heard a lot of blues musicians do that free verse stuff, and this is a lady named Emona Harris from 1923, and they call it Brown Skin Man, and she go for like a minute just doing free verse, you know, just rhyming and the beat going with it, and I like to keep that alive too, and not because a lot of people think you borrowing from modern hip hop to do that, but it's like, nah, that's over 100 years ago, people were doing that same little free verse thing. So yeah, that's what I got that from. And also just clowning on the guitar on that one. A lot of folk like it, you know, and when you're playing by yourself, you have to figure out ways to try to keep folks engaged. So that's one of my sticky songs, I call it. Yeah.
I love that. Now, the question I have, because you're from West Georgia, fairly south. So were you influenced at all by Hill Country?
Like Mississippi, I wouldn't say. I say my influence definitely came from listening to a whole different style, a lot of styles of blues. But once I started really listening to a lot of them, I think those categories and those names really, people just gave them to them so folks could listen to music better and kind of have a sense of it. Because most people call hill country blues like if you stay on the one chord a lot, but it's a lot of folk that stay on the one chord that not even from the hill country. And I feel like I would mostly just influenced by black music in general, you know, not necessarily no region. I did think when I first started it was only in Mississippi and Chicago. Then when I found out, man, you got Monterey and you got Piedmont, you got the Texas, you got everywhere. So I started just following through there. But yeah, I'm influenced by all the folks. Now, there are hill country artists that I am influenced by for sure, but I wouldn't say it was just one thing.
Yeah, no, and
when I took
it's just so interesting to me, just in terms of, especially now when things are available. You know, back in the day when things were just regional, you were just hearing what was around you. But now you can be, you can get turned on.
Be in Spain and you can be playing it there. So, and when I say, that's why I named my album West Georgia Blues, because regardless of the style that I play, at the end of the day, I'm a West Georgia Blues player because I live there. Cause that almost now you almost have to say that because it's a lot of folk that and more power to them, but they create themselves as a Chicago blues player. But if you ain't from Chicago, you know what I'm saying, you might play Chicago blues, you know what I'm saying, but it's a different meaning for a person that is from Chicago that play it, so that's kind of how I felt about it when I said West Georgia blues. I can play some of the stuff from Texas, I can play some of the stuff from Alabama, but at the end of the day, I'm a Georgia blues musician, but to be more specific, I'm a West Georgia blues.
And Georgia is such an incredible legacy of music of all kinds.
Everything,
all kinds of
for
music.
sure.
And so Alabama too. You're not too far from there.
Yeah, because I'm right on that line.
Yeah, we have such diversity, and it's really wonderful to dig into all, and see how to trace these heritages, back. And what's going on for you in this year? Are you touring a bunch?
Yeah, so I was at home from, I like to say how long I'm from home too, because, how long I'm at home, because I spent a good time on the road, but I was at home from like the 24th of November to now, so like I had like 2 months at home, so, it gives you enough to be like, I'm going to miss home, but it's also like, ready, time to go. So I did a show in Decatur before this one, but Decatur, Georgia, but I still consider that a home show. But this is like my first out of state show this year. But after I leave here, I got 2 days. I'll go to Minneapolis and I come down to St. Louis. Then I do Urbana, Illinois. Then I go to Chicago, outside of Chicago, and then I go to Milwaukee. Then from Milwaukee, I go to Europe and stay in France for about 7 days, and then I go to the Netherlands for like 4 days, and then I do end in Belgium. Then I come back. But I got a nice, I'm booked this year and still got some stuff. Yeah, it's always a blessing. It's always a blessing. Every year, I'm like somebody still want to hear me, So yeah, I love it. So that's what I got going. Probably put some new music out toward the end of the year because it took me 5 years to put this last one out. But I got the stuff already, so I'll probably put it out at the end of the year. And get married the 16th of May. Yeah, appreciate it. And then get married the 15th of May. Reception on the 16th of May. What else? Yeah, it's always something going on. Always. My mom and dad are actually coming to Europe because I'm winning some award in France and then on the 2nd. And so my mom had never been to Europe, but my daddy hadn't been there since '78 when he was in Vietnam. So he both of them scared, but they both of them excited too. So I'm gonna be real happy to get them to come out there. But other than that, it's just the same thing. Playing shows and meeting fans and trying to live life while I can.
A life in music.
Yeah, that's it.
It's really, if it's in your heart and your soul and you got to make it, you're doing it.
Yeah, I love it. I love every second of it.
Well, it's so great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm so happy you're at the 38th Songwriters Festival and that you came to see us.
I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
So good. Jontavious Willis for WMOT Roots Radio.